Red hot comic book movie news, shooting up your butthole. The Weekly Planet, the Weekly Planet.
Welcome back, everybody, to another episode of the Weekly Planet, where I talk movies and my voice, Mason. Didn't start well.
I thought you started very well.
No, I didn't. Like, my voice was a bit craggling, you know?
A bit craggling?
Yeah.
Like the MCU's craggling?
No, different.
Oh, okay.
But anyway, this is where we talk movies and comics and TV shows. My name is James, also known as Mr. Sunday, and with me as always is my co-host Nick Mason. There we go, I feel better.
That was great.
Yeah.
I think you did fine. I think it's because immediately before we hit record, we had a conversation where I said that sometimes when I guest on podcasts, I will listen back for a second, and I feel like I'm too close to the mic, and I'm like...
And you're always going,
I am always going,
and Collings edits that out of this.
Because on my guest appearances, I'm like, I've tricked him again. I made it on this podcast. They don't know. I got nothing to say. But I tricked him.
Yeah.
But speaking of,
it's
me, Meso. I'm here.
Yeah,
I was a
hello.
guest on not one but two podcasts this week.
God, you busy much podcasting, Mason?
Very, extremely, so
Okay.
tired.
Yeah, I bet. Go on, though.
Do not have the energy for this podcast because I did those other two podcasts. But first of all, I was on our pal Sam Peterson's podcast, Confessions. He's given it a bit of a rebrand. It's just called Confessions,
Love it.
podcast with Sam Peterson. I was on with a new friend, first time met him, Ruben Kay, who's a sort of a very, very funny comedian, actor, cabaret performer.
My goodness.
He does it all.
A triple threat.
Triple threat.
Wonderful.
And
Love
he had
that.
a gun.
Oh,
so
no.
Quadruple
threat.
Yeah. He was like, be funny. And I'm like... Wasn't planning on it, but all right. It was a bit of fun, and we listened to online confessions, and we gave them terrible advice.
Nice. Well, that's great. That's what it's all
great.
about.
And it was also on our pals Do Go On's podcast. They're doing Blocktober.
Oh, yeah.
Which is the biggest and best, most requested topics.
Even though it's November.
Well, it's Blowvember. It's Blocktober and then Blowvember.
They've extended
They've got
it.
They've got. I think it was 9 topics this year, and I tried to make an appearance during Blocktober/Blowvember. So this time we listened to this story. Jess did a great report on the story of the Mary Celeste, the ship that came into shore, and there was nobody on the ship, and what happened to everybody on the ship. And maybe it was a ghost, but it wasn't a ghost.
Did they check in and around the ship? Were they hanging on to the back?
They didn't check in and around the ship.
That's what I would have done.
Yeah, right.
I bet that's
you should
where
have
they
been
were.
there.
Yeah.
Anyway, we solved the mystery.
Oh, cool. So I don't need to listen to it?
No.
Okay, great. Because I solved it just
You
now.
solved the mystery. Just
Wow.
now, yeah.
Mason, there's plenty of mysteries afoot this week, and by that I mean news items, before we get to the main topic of the week, which is the Guardians of the Galaxy Christmas special, which in a way is a mystery also. Also, we're doing Knives Out, Glass Onion next week, which is also a mystery.
Definitely a mystery.
But if you're going to see it, it's only in cinemas for a few more days.
Yeah.
So
It's got a 1 week release.
And then it disappears for a month or whatever.
Depending on where you are in the world, if you're listening to this the day it comes out, you might have a day to see it in cinemas.
And I haven't seen it yet, so I got to rush out to cinemas.
Right.
And somebody gave me some gold class tickets a while back, and I'm like, finally I can use these for something good, Mason.
Somebody gave you some gold class.
So I won't say who, Mason, because I don't remember. Anyways,
Get a load of this guy.
here's the
Get a load of this guy.
news.
Somebody gave you $1 million worth of tickets. And you're like,
It was $1 million.
I don't even remember. who gave me these tickets.
So we've got Bob Iger is back, Mason. Big news.
Huzzah!
That's a long
I
news
guess.
item.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, correct.
One CEO got changed for another interchangeable CEO.
That's right.
Who's slightly better in some ways and probably slightly worse in other ways.
Sounds about right, Mason. Also, Avatar 2 is coming out soon. I want to talk about the budget of that. Blade has a new director also, and that's pretty much the news of the week. But this first bit of news, it's there's a lot of information going on here,
Okay,
Mason,
sure.
if you don't mind me saying so. Let's call this the Battle of the Bobs, Mason.
Okay,
so,
sure.
Bob Chapek.
B.O.B.?
Yes.
B.O.T.B.?
Yes.
Okay.
Bob Chapek.
Because B.O.B. is that Outcast song.
And it's also just Bob.
The name Bob.
Yeah.
Then it should be B.O.B.
You're-
Move over, Outcast. You split up 15 years ago anyway.
Move over, though.
Move over.
Scooch further back.
Yes.
So Bob Chapek, who was he's been the Disney CEO for a couple of years. He was handpicked by previous Bob Iger, to replace him because Bob Iger planned to retire after all. He'd done everything that he wanted to do.
Going to have a retiger.
That's right. And he said,
It's time to retiger.
is that what he said? Your
Yeah.
dad, Mason? Because that's the joke.
That is the
recurring
joke.
that he's your dad.
Yeah. I don't know why we got onto that.
It's also not a joke. It's real.
That's true.
Yeah.
Yeah. I never joke about my family.
So the idea was that I would say the Disney board in particular were not happy.
I thought you were
with
going to say the
performance.
Disney boys.
Yeah, the Disney
boys were not
That's
happy.
what they call them, yeah. And they said, you're out.
Disney is secretly controlled by like Pinocchio-esque unruly children.
Sure.
It's a bunch of newsies. We don't like it.
Some of them have turned into donkeys and some of them haven't, I think,
right.
Mason.
Mhm. Yeah.
But it's also people haven't been happy, like fans, about how he's been running certain things. And I know there's been, that feels like they're nickel and diming people for the park stuff. And sometimes you'll buy tickets and passes that you can't use them. Like, it's like, no, you missed out, but we have your money.
We don't know because we are many continents away. But apparently, I read recently that Chapek is using the Disney parks to fund the streaming.
Yeah, okay.
Which initially sounds insane, but then you go, okay, well, there are people who go. Thousands of people go to these parks every day. Tens of thousands, hundreds, I don't know.
Millions.
Millions or billions of people go to these parks every day. And, decades ago, the Disney parks apparently you bought a ticket and you went in and you could just do anything you wanted in any given day. But now it's like everything costs money in there.
And then you got to pay to move faster, but maybe you can pay to go even faster.
People who haven't already seen it, and it's got 1 trillion million, maybe 1 billion views, the Defunct Land YouTube
I still haven't watched it. It's in my thing because it's like 4 hours long.
Has a video on FastPass and how they built a system where you could pay extra to jump lines, but then everybody started using that, so there's another system built on top of that, and et cetera. And there's various apps that sometimes work and don't work. It is fascinating.
And you're like in an online queue to line up for certain things.
Yeah.
And look, I plan to go in a few years, and I don't know whether I'll do like this. And there's things like the Star Wars hotel, which is like, why is this so expensive and doesn't look that good as well?
Yeah,
like it looks kind of cheap. And to go, like for me, it'd be like, well, if I'm flying across the world with my son. Or maybe all my family, depending who's going.
Maybe we'll draw straws.
Yeah, maybe. Like, I don't want to... I'd have to pay an enormous amount of money just to ensure that I could go. Because I'm not going there to not go.
Yeah.
I'm not... which is, like, insane to me that you'd have to do that.
The idea that you could spend $10,000 and potentially go over there and show up at 8 a.m. or whenever the park opens and not get a chance to do anything.
Yeah.
And then you have to come home again is astounding.
Yeah.
Like that's in terms of like...
And I know there are ways around it like you mentioned, but it's just paying more money essentially.
Yeah.
And it seems really complicated.
What would be worse, in your opinion?
Oh, nuclear holocaust, definitely, Mason.
All right,
that would probably be the worst thing.
Yeah, but...
I reckon.
Okay.
Maybe racism, that would be bad. I don't like that either.
Oh, okay.
But
if you had to pick between one of those two, which would you rather have, racism or nuclear apocalypse? I didn't give you. You've given me your own options here, James. You've made your bed. You got to live in it.
Mason, I'm going to say I don't like both.
Huh?
Yeah, that's what I'm going to say.
Wow, the coward's way out. But speaking of, what would you rather have? You fly over to America with one or both of your children.
Yeah.
And you don't know the deal with Disney, and you just show up expecting it to be a good day, and it's a disaster, or you do a bunch of research on the internet, which people can do now, and you know it's going to be a disaster. And you...
Yeah, I want to know what I'm walking into.
Right,
yeah, just so I could word my kids up to be like, just bear in mind, whoever's running this, people don't like, I think.
Yeah.
and I don't know what's going to happen.
Because you'd also have to go... and
I'm also not like rich enough to be like, get a private Kardashian tour where you go behind the scenes and they take you to all the rides.
You're not as rich as the Kardashians.
I'm not as rich as the Kardashian, Mason. Not yet. Not unless everybody signs up to BigSandwich.co for 40 years
It's
each.
true. So, but it's the worst advertising campaign in the world in the sense that everybody has access to all this data and everybody knows that this is going to happen. And I'm sure there are plenty of people around the world who are just like, I'd
rather not.
I'd rather not, thank you.
Yeah, and there's options. You go to Universal. You go to Hollywood on the Gold Coast. You go to Warner Brothers Movie World in Queensland.
Yeah. You go to Wobby's World.
You go to Wobby's World, which isn't there anymore, I think, maybe.
You go to Pombo Mart.
You go to...
A reference that nobody gets, but I still like.
You go to Pipeworks.
You go to Pipe.
Another reference.
You go to Science Works.
That's pretty good, actually.
Yeah,
Science Works is genuinely good.
Yeah.
Melbourne Museum also absolute cracker.
You go to that bit that's sort of near the airport where you can watch the planes land and take off.
No, I don't want that.
Huh?
No.
You maybe there's an ice cream van there though.
Get ice cream, yeah.
It's true. It's true. Where was I going with this? Who knows? It's the worst.
I think you were thinking of another obscure thing.
I absolutely was. Franklin's supermarkets. Not around anymore.
They're gone.
Yeah. Because I don't have kids, but you have kids. But imagine if you were like, listen, my child.
Yeah.
What looks like your favorite? What looks like is going to be your favorite thing in the park? We will try to get to that.
Yeah, exactly.
And then there's still no guarantees.
Yeah, exactly.
Crazy.
Yeah. So there you go. That's fun.
People should watch that. People should also watch this. Speaking of Defunct Land did a video this week on the Disney Channel like musical sting and
the 4 notes that where it came from. Yeah, isn't that super long as well?
Yeah, this investigative report on like who created this song ultimately. And there's a second video that also came out this week. It's an H Bomber Guy video about.
I've got so many videos that I haven't watched.
There's a sound apparently in Roblox, like an oof noise.
Yeah,
and it's a deep dive into the creation of that sound, and it goes places you wouldn't expect.
Oh.
It's crazy.
It's good?
Yeah.
Okay.
You'd be like, what? How does this keep happening? You'll say to yourself.
That's what I'll keep saying?
Yeah.
Great. All right, I'll check it out.
Great.
Anyways, so apparently on his way out, Bob Chapek is going to get, first of all, he'll sign a thing which will say, hey, shut up. Mm-hmm. And the other thing is that he'll get...
A hey, shut up form.
Yeah, he'll also get $22 million. So apparently, as mentioned, people don't like his handling of the parks, the streaming services, the movies, and what's kind of promoted, which I'm going to talk about all this more in detail.
Animation he doesn't like.
Doesn't like animation, which I'll talk about.
Cartoons are just for kids in his opinion.
Also, different deals that he's kind of done with stars.
Now that I'm the head of Disney, I don't think we should do any of this animation stuff. I don't think it's for anyone, really.
But you see that in the marketing. We'll talk about it. And do you remember things like Scarlett Johansson got screwed on that deal for Black Widow because they put it to streaming?
Yeah, right.
And he just kind of tried to just do it. And then it cost him a lot of money because, she took him to court or was going to take him to court and there was a settlement and whatever. So there's a lot of things that have been happening that people are like, why are you doing this?
Yeah.
Anyways, one of the things is from the Wall Street Journal, where apparently he's been hiding the Disney Plus.
So this is from the Wall Street Journal. It's about Disney Plus.
Yeah. So...
I do just as many of these as you do, but for whatever reason, you let them slide and I don't. Well, it depends on the week, I guess.
It depends, yeah. So originals like...
Disney Plus is very funny, though. I don't know why.
Great. Originals like The Mysterious Benedict Society and the new Doogie MD show or whatever.
Oh, yes.
They were aired first on other networks such as the Disney Channel, so the production and marketing budget wouldn't be counted against Disney Plus.
Oh.
And it seems like he's just been going all in on Disney Plus for everything, as you mentioned, using the money from the parks potentially to fund it as well. And it's probably running at a loss because they can afford to at this point, to a certain extent. The other thing that you mentioned, he said that adults don't watch Disney animated efforts, which is just not true. And especially like for me...
So how would you know?
Yeah, well, they'd have the data on it, I assume, and it would probably say the opposite of that. But I think... There is a Disney animation problem, and for Strange World, for example, just came out, and I think it made like $19 million in its first weekend. But a lot of people are like, I didn't know that was out and whatever. And I've seen it, but the only reason I've seen it is because I got an email that said, "Hey, do you want to see this?" And here's an extra ticket, and I took my son.
Yeah,
that's the only reason I know that came out.
So if we get everybody on the media industry list
for a free ticket and a popcorn,
then it'll still make $19 million, but more people will see it.
Yeah. That's it. So their marketing is terrible, and I think also they need to what distinguishes a Disney movie? What makes it special from what they're doing at like the new Spider-Verse movie? I know that's coming, and it looks like it's something exciting and new and fresh in the animation style. Even the new Puss in Boots movie, which is apparently amazing. It looks different than all the old ones. Like, what are you specifically doing to highlight what's unique about this?
DreamWorks, of course, has the signature DreamWorks face. What does Disney have? Do they have a Disney face?
We can quickly talk about that new DreamWorks intro.
Yeah,
Did you see people getting very upset about it? Where it shows all the different DreamWorks movies. Where was Shark Tale, Mason?
Great question.
Yeah. I don't care, honestly.
Right.
I know it's kind of like tacky to be like, here's Kung Fu Panda and Shrek's waving and whatever.
Well, apparently they're swappable. All these characters are hot swappable.
Of course they are.
So if they're doing a movie, if this intro is in front of a movie that doesn't, play well with the Boss Baby, they'll cut the Boss Baby out. Or maybe they'll leave the Boss Baby in to be like, well, you're watching this, you're watching Shark Tale 5, but just know there's a whole world of Boss Baby out there for you.
My son's been watching a bit of the Boss Baby.
The TV series.
It's that and the movie. And I caught like 10 minutes of it, but not in a row. And I'm just like, what the fuck is this?
Well, maybe you should have watched that 10 minutes in a row.
It's like, there's a secret baby organization but also he's a real baby sometimes.
Isn't he a man that was turned into a baby?
I don't know, Mason.
Okay.
And sometimes he's Alec Baldwin, but then sometimes he'll snap out of it and he's a regular baby. So then I'm like,
Or maybe he'll snap into it.
Yeah, so that's what I mean. Like, so when Alec Baldwin becomes the boss baby permanently, does he override the personality of an actual baby? Anyway, I should watch it because I don't know what was happening.
You should watch it. That's how they get you.
But yeah, I mean, look at like Pixar, for example. Like it used to be a thing where people were like, let's see the new Pixar and whatever. And I think they were on a good thing with like Tangled, Frozen, Moana. These are movies that people saw and knew about, and they had like stars that people recognize.
That's what you want. You want
music people
you
like.
want things that people see and
They
know about.
They go, we know this.
And Strange World, I imagine.
What is it? Like, what is it? What do you think it is?
It's a vague...
It is.
It's a vague... Is it like Lost in Space?
No.
Huh.
Sort of.
Okay. But also, I think a lot of people might even look at the bus ad or whatever that has Strange World on it or the billboard or something and go, that'll be on Disney Plus soon, I guess. That's a Disney
Exactly.
Is it a Disney Plus show? I don't know, I guess.
Yeah, exactly.
You know?
Yeah. And like, it's more, it's a bit inner space. It's a bit like Journey to the Center of the Earth. It's like, and I've seen it as mentioned, and it's fine. Like, it's all right. And I know a lot of people will probably be like it tanked because it's woke or whatever.
Oh, sure.
No, I mean, I'm sure there is like a sliver of people who won't see it because there's two boys who like each other in it. It's barely anything.
Yeah, right.
But nobody knows what it is, and that's a massive problem. Or if you do know, and you're just like, I'll see it in a month. Who cares?
Yeah.
I don't need to see this. Why would I need to see this in cinemas?
Yeah. Right now, I'm busy in a line at Disney World.
Yeah.
Trying to get in. I've spent a week here trying to get my son into this.
I'm pretty confident it's just going in a circle. Right. I'm going to mark the floor to see if I can.
Hey, wait, they're putting a sign up that says "Go in a circle land." I'm being charged $40 for this.
The other thing is, this was I saw this via Comic Book Resources. There was a November Q4 earnings call where Bob Chapek reportedly tried to paint an encouraging picture of Disney's finances, relaying that the company made a record $28 billion in profit, despite the fact that they weren't profitable. So when the numbers did come out, then the
so he lied.
He lied. Then the share. I'm sure there was some clever accounting, or he just lied. So then the stock prices dropped when it came out.
You've put a little dot in between. That's $2.8 billion. And you've taken the dot out.
The other thing is, in terms of the things that Bob Iger did, he rescued Disney in so many ways. And there's the bunch of stuff that I don't agree that he did. But in terms of like being a CEO, he's clearly one of the best.
Right.
Like he got...
For not for consumers, but for...
No, I wouldn't even say...
Iger.
I would say
Iger.
both.
Okay,
yeah,
right.
Iger, sorry. Yeah, exactly. Your dad, you know him.
Oh, yeah, I know.
Yeah.
It's my dad.
It's not a joke. It's real.
It's real.
Yeah. But like there was this whole Pixar deal where they had a few, they were contracted to a few movies under Disney, and then they were free to do their own thing. And then the contract kind of extended and whatever, and then he just came in and went, "We're just buying it."
Yeah, right.
And now they're locked in. He bought Marvel, which is just the biggest franchise in the world, also because of Disney as well.
That's
like
true.
they'd only got a few movies in, and I think they still would have done very well, like independently. But you can't argue that Disney haven't assisted in that. He bought Lucasfilm, which is Star Wars, Indiana Jones, Willow, probably Howard the Duck.
Probably Kathleen Kennedy tried to stop him or
I do want to talk
help
about that
him
as well.
to acquire Star Wars, whichever one would make you the most mad.
Yes. 20th Century Fox also, and we're kind of seeing that kind of unfold at the moment. And apparently he said in a statement that he wants to put decisions back in the hands of creatives, which I know sounds like a vague kind of whatever. But I think it's true because I think he'd let people make the things that they want to make. He let Kevin Feige just run Marvel. He let Kathleen Kennedy, even though some people don't like it, he let her run Star Wars, all of these things.
Yeah, right.
So this is also via the John Campea show on YouTube, Mason.
Okay.
Said other people have heard this as well, that the lack of movies coming out of Star Wars was actually a Chapek directive. So Chapek directed that there weren't going to be any movies coming out right now. I said the same thing twice there, but that is the quote.
You rephrased it though, and I think that's
I
important.
didn't. I didn't. That was just reading what was said.
You somebody rephrased it, and you took advantage of that. You took that to the limit, which I respect.
Yeah. So there hasn't been Star Wars movies in 3 years, and there doesn't seem to be one anywhere at the moment.
That's true.
It's all streaming. But he also said...
that Andor, heck of a show.
I agree. He also said that apparently the return of Bob Iger solidify. You could say that to him at the dinner table.
That's true.
Hey, look, it's Bog Iger. Have a seat, Bog.
That's right.
You could say that to him, mate.
Let's watch some Disney Plus, Bog.
Because Kathleen Kennedy and Bob Iger are close, that secures her position because she's like an ally of him and vice versa.
Okay, it's all office politics.
But the other thing is apparently, and I don't know whether this is true, Kathleen Kennedy I think she's contracted until 2025. And it's the same thing John Campea said, that that would probably be it for her. She'd probably step away. But it's also possible, obviously, between now and then. And then everybody would be right that Kathleen Kennedy did leave.
Yeah.
I mean, but I wouldn't be surprised if she left either because it's been 10 years now.
It has been 10 years, yeah.
So, like, at any point that she leaves...
She's probably earning $50,000 a year.
Oh, at least.
So why do you retire now? Come on.
Yeah, that's it.
Well, you got all the money you'd ever need.
So I think, she's probably going to step aside in the next few years. And I think people will claim it as a victory, but I just think it just ran its course, honestly.
Yeah.
You know? Yeah. Also, you'll love this, Mason.
Uh-oh.
So this is all part of this, but this is in One Company Buys Another Company news.
Love it.
This is via the Wrap. So Inspired...
We need a better name for that.
I said Inspired, but go on. One company buys...
Inspired man. I like it.
One company buys another company news. I think that's...
Okay, that is pretty good, yeah. Yeah.
So insider speculation is that all this is being done. Bob Iger is being
I think they should call it... We should call it mergers and whacquisitions. On account of some of these mergers are quite whack.
I think it's cool when one company buys another company.
Fine, well.
So I will not...
Okay.
I could not support you on this, Mason.
Okay.
I can't veto it, but I will not support you.
That's all right.
So that... The idea is to get the company looking and performing well again so they can sell Disney to Apple.
Wait. Say the whole thing again.
They'll get the company running.
Which company? I forgot.
Disney.
Okay.
Get it all running and then just...
Which company?
Disney.
Yes.
And then sell Disney, all of it,
to Apple. Does Apple want Disney?
Maybe, yeah.
So Disney including everything. So including
Yes,
Star Wars
right.
and Marvel and all the things we've just said.
And Willow.
And all the parks. And,
Yep, everything.
Wow.
Literally everything. Well, Apple is a bigger company than Disney, but like quite a lot.
That's incredible.
Yeah.
Wow.
So that's maybe what's happening. The quote here from an insider. Who is it? I don't know. Is it me? Maybe.
Oh, maybe.
It's not me. This is the pinnacle deal for the ultimate deal maker. I think he'd welcome it. He'd be the last CEO of Disney, which is true. He'd
you think that would be his...
I don't know.
He'd be like, this is my legacy. I sold this thing to another thing.
I can't wait, Mason, until there's no more cafes. There's no more places where you might go to a movie. There's no more places where you might get your dog washed. That's all one grey building that you visit.
That's
It's
terrific.
just one company.
Do you visit it or do you live in it?
You might
live in it.
You live there and you work there.
You live there and you work there and you get paid in Apple script.
Yep.
And that's used to pay... There's a Walmart in there. Do they own Walmart?
Probably, yeah.
Maybe Walmart buys Apple.
Yeah, okay.
Because that would be a good product to be in a Walmart, all your Apple products.
I agree.
Your Iron Man branded iMacs or whatever, you know?
Yeah.
That'd be good stuff.
I agree. So that's where we're heading, one big company. Can't wait to see which one it is.
That's right.
It's going to be really exciting. So there you go. That's what's going on with Disney at the moment.
Wow.
Big breaking news, Mason.
Here's some unsubstantiated, but I've got 2 bits of news, James.
Wow.
I don't know if you're ready for this, but here's one piece of unsubstantiated news. The villain of the Thunderbolts movie will either be Hyperion or the Sentry.
So it's Superman.
Yeah. Depending on the rumor you've heard. This is from Daniel RPK. I don't know if that's
yeah, no, I know. Yeah, we've talked about him
reliable.
before. He's pretty solid, yeah.
Okay, yeah. So the Thunderbolts movie, which we've established is going to be a bunch of brawlers and ghosts.
Yeah. They're doing the Suicide Squad takes down Superman.
Exactly, yeah. So it's either going to be the Sentry, who is a Marvel Comics character who was he was created sort of relatively in the relative modern day, but the imagined backstory is that he's always existed, or he's existed since, the dawn of the Fantastic Four and Spider-Man and the Hulk and all those characters, but everybody forgot who he was.
Why?
For plot reasons, James.
Okay.
There was a big machine.
Because he said, don't look at me.
Yeah, exactly. I'll hit you. Yeah. Nobody look at me, I'll hit you. So there's that. A character that has...
It's very unusual to have like a very, very superpowered Superman type character. But they exist, just to be like there's a Superman in Marvel.
Yeah.
Because in DC... there's like 15 people who are as strong as Superman at the very least.
That's true, yeah. But yeah, like Sentry is of that sort of power level of throw somebody into space kind of power level. He's that kind of Superman level. He's a character who's not really been... He first came into being as in a limited series. And his backstory's been sort of altered over the years, and he's been on various teams, but I'm not sure if they've ever really... found a good way to use this character. So maybe they'll just be
make him a villain.
He's more of a Superman. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, or the other alternative is Hyperion, who again is another. He's from the Squadron Supreme, which
he's
is
Superman as well, isn't he?
He's also Superman, exactly. Yeah. So the Squadron.
Which one's sometimes a villain, or are they both sometimes a villain?
They're both sometimes a villain.
Okay,
well, so the Sentry was on the Dark Avengers when when all the real Avengers went on the run.
The Avengers.
The Avengers, that's right.
No.
He was just on there as a
I said, I'll do it.
yeah, I'll do this.
Yeah.
Because he is, without getting too much, he's some would say he's almost as much of a villain as he is a hero in a lot of ways.
Okay.
But Hyperion is from the Squadron Supreme, which is Marvel's sort of parody of the Justice League.
Right, yeah.
So imagine if Marvel did a Superman character better than Superman before DC managed it.
Okay.
In the modern era. That'd be
absolutely.
fun. Yeah.
I mean, I think now with James Gunn, in charge of things, I think that could very well,
Yeah.
change. I think DC could be very interesting. I mean, like, wow, look at this amazing take I want to make. But just the fact that they've got somebody like that making decisions.
Yeah.
It's not like a bulletproof, like it could, who knows, it could be terrible, but it'd be nice to get some really solid, like a bunch of really good DC stuff in a row. So Marvel also has to improve. It's good when other companies do well. I want
it's
that
good
to
when
happen.
Disney is going to be purchased by Apple.
Well, that was other people said that Disney could buy Warner Brothers, and who knows? I don't want that though either.
Okay.
Yeah,
Right.
because then they'll all be in the same universe, and they'll make them kiss, and I guess that I like, but I don't know. Other than that, yeah. Anyway, sorry, you were saying.
I was going to say, I think, how do you feel about that as the Suicide Squad versus the Marvel version of the Suicide Squad versus Superman?
Yeah, I like that.
I think it's fun too, right? And obviously, we've since this announcement or this rumor was floated, a lot of people have been like, "Oh, what are they going to fight? Oh, this is going to be a short fight. He's going to bloody kill them all, whatever."
Yeah, but the point is, you write it so that doesn't happen.
You write it so it doesn't happen. See,
that's what I would.
Little
do.
advice for aspiring filmmakers out there.
If they're like, well, this would be a very short interaction, wouldn't it? Or this movie doesn't sound very long.
Pipe down, Favreau.
Yeah.
Do the thing.
Put some dialogue in it.
Yeah.
Maybe they visit a restaurant together and they're like, this team isn't working out or whatever, but then they have to work together.
They have to work together. Yeah.
Yeah.
Sure.
Maybe they've got a ray that they could use that could shut him down for a bit.
Yes.
Stuff like that.
Or they could be like, remember who you are,
And he does.
And then they hit him with a crowbar. Clang, right in the back of the head.
That's really...
yeah. I'm human again for the first time. Where's my wife? I miss my wife. Clang.
Yeah.
Dead. And they hit him with a garbage truck.
Yeah, that's really good.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Really good stuff, Mason. What's your second bit of news?
My second bit of news, and it's nearly a week old, this bit of news, but I think it's worth talking about. Quentin Tarantino. I've written here in my notes, Quentin Tarantino says some Quentin Tarantino stuff.
Because he's selling a book.
Yeah, because he's selling a book. He's got his book about movie making or whatever it is.
Yeah.
Quentin Tarantino believes the Marvelization of Hollywood killed the movie
You said
stars.
Quentin Tino. Sorry, go on.
No, I didn't. That's how you do it, James. You have a bit of confidence in yourself and you just go, nah. Tarantino went on Tom Segura's podcast,
I
Two
listened
Bears,
to
One Cave.
the whole thing, yeah.
And Tarantino mourned the idea that there are no real movie stars thanks to the Marvelization of Hollywood. So the quote is, part of the Marvelization of Hollywood is, I'm not going to do the voice, but I could.
Okay.
You have no, I'm not going to do it. You have all these actors who have become famous playing these characters, but they're not movie stars, right? Tarantino asks. Captain America is the star, or Thor is the star. I mean, I'm not the first person to say that. I think that's been said a zillion times.
Anthony Mackie said it a few years ago.
He did. He said
when he was doing Marvel movies.
Yeah, he said you are making movies now for 16-year-old boys in China. That's what he said specifically. But how do you feel about this statement before we get into the backlash from it?
Sure, yeah.
I feel like he is sort of right and he's sort of wrong.
There's absolutely an element of truth to that where IP is the star of something.
Yeah. But also, and speaking of Anthony Mackie, I'm excited to see Anthony Mackie as Sam Wilson Captain America in the next Captain America.
Yeah.
But
you don't want to see that one where he's a robot and it's a Netflix movie or whatever? He's a robot soldier?
Maybe I already did say that.
Yeah, maybe you did. There's a bit where he's got transparent skin and the guy's like, you're a robot. And he's like, oh, man, I'm a robot.
I didn't say that. I also didn't say that. But if Marvel said, hey, we're bringing back Steve Rogers Captain America and it's not going to be Chris Evans, it's going to be somebody else, I'd be like, I don't know about that.
Yeah, I guess.
So,
yes. So it's a combination.
Yeah, so Captain America is the iconic character, but I think Chris Evans, at least for the now and the foreseeable future, knocked that character out of the park so well that I think I would not be that interested in seeing another Captain America movie without him in it.
And I think they know that also.
I think if Chris Evans was an action star in the 80s, I think he probably would be, of that level.
I think there are exceptions to this rule. Maybe not one of the people who spoke out, which we will talk to.
Sure.
But like Chris Evans, I think,
Yeah.
is a movie star outside of Captain
Yeah.
America. I think Chris Hemsworth, even though his movies don't do incredibly well necessarily outside of Marvel, I think he is a movie star.
Right,
Like
yeah,
Brie
yeah.
Larson, like, is a movie star. But I also, and I feel like there's actors in the MCU which were stars, which then they brought in, like Harrison Ford, for
Sure,
example, for joining. But I think there's also people that are in the MCU, and it's just like, this is, for now at least, this is who they are.
Yeah, right. But I also think it's less to do with the Marvelization. I mean, it is partly to
And
do
when he
that.
says Marvel, he means like, it doesn't mean specifically, well,
Yeah.
yes, specifically Marvel, but also just the idea of this kind
the
of
franchising.
Yeah,
and
like
et
your
cetera.
Star Wars and DC
Yeah,
or whatever.
but
yeah.
like, I feel also it's the idea behind the reason Chris Evans would have been a huge star in the 80s is because your options were go see him at the movies or watch him on TV when the movie went to TV.
Yeah.
But now there are so many options. A Schwarzenegger or a Stallone or something like that back in the 80s, you would see everything they did
Yeah.
because it was just at the movies.
Yeah.
Whereas I'm not following everything Chris Evans does because some of it is at the movies and some of it is
Defending Jacob.
defending Jacob, which I would have to buy another streaming service.
It's good.
Yeah, I know, but I'm not.
Just wait till Disney and Apple merge and then you'll have it.
No, they'll have it. That's
Yeah.
true. Well, I might have it. Probably have to purchase as an additional package.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah.
Yeah. I got that email this week from Disney Plus. They're like, we're doubling the prices, basically.
And you're an idiot.
I'm an idiot. You specifically.
So rude, but
Yeah.
what are you going to do?
Well, exactly.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think the Marvelization is true, but it's also there are so many more options now, and you just can't get to everything, you know?
Yeah. You're right.
Yeah.
But there was backlash. I was trying to bring it up, but I think you have it there.
I'll find it.
Yeah.
There was a little bit of backlash. And look, let me preface this by saying that it's probably we think it's all like Sunshine and Roses being a Marvel star. But
I think it'd be, a lot of that would be awful, to be
I will
honest.
see, that's the thing. Like, if you're a Marvel star, you are under the pump all the time.
Yeah.
Like, you've always got to be fit, like super fit,
Yep.
just in case they need you for a cameo.
Or if
for-
somebody just takes a photo of you at the beach.
Well, exactly.
You know,
yeah.
because they'll get
Yeah,
the
yeah.
photo of you where you're ripped in the movie and
That's
you're
right.
dehydrated, and they'll be
Yeah, yeah.
like, "Now you're fat." And that would be the
Exactly,
headline.
that's right.
This guy's fat
Yeah.
now.
Chris Fatsworth, they'd say.
Fatsworth.
Fatsworth.
You know, yeah.
Fat Chris Evans, they'd say.
Yeah.
It's etc.
Yeah.
You're probably constantly like going in and doing meetings with Marvel where
Yeah.
they're like, oh, what's the next step for this character? Blah, blah, blah kind of thing. You're doing charity stuff. You're visiting sick kids in hospital. You're
Yep.
doing what a bloody chore. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
All that sort of stuff. And you're also always on in the sense that like, even when you're doing, if you're doing interviews for a new project that has nothing to do with Marvel, people will be asking you Marvel questions.
100%.
And every day,
Even
you
if
just-
you've quit.
Yes, and every day you'd just be living your life, and a little kid would come up to you and be like, "Excuse me, would you win in a fight?
Are you Fatsworth?
Are you Fatsworth? And would you win in a fight against Black Widow?" And you'd have to be like, what does this kid want?"
I'd kill Black Widow.
That's right. I'd snap her neck.
Yeah, no,
I'd
you're right.
push her off that cliff.
Yeah, but I think they're being pretty clever in their casting. It was where, as of yet, and
Yeah.
there's probably an exception I'm not thinking of, there's nobody who's done something really outrageous as a Marvel star yet. I
Right,
just want
sure.
to preface that by saying, because someone will come back in a few years where something will happen. but I feel like with DC, there's been a number of actors where you're like, okay,
Yeah. But Simu Liu
Yeah.
of the movie Shang-Chi,
Yes.
the title role, he is in fact
It was a
Shang-Chi.
good one.
It was a good one. It was
Yeah.
good fun. I still think it peaked at the bus fight. But you know,
Yeah, there was a bit at the end when they fought in a big grey pit, and I didn't really
That's
like
true,
that
yes.
too much.
Yeah. But he tweeted, if the only gatekeepers to movie stardom came from Tarantino and Scorsese, I would never have had the opportunity to lead a $400 million plus movie. I'm in awe of their filmmaking genius. They are transcendent auteurs, but they don't get to point their nose at me or anyone. I don't know what that means. Second tweet, no movie studio is or ever will be perfect, but I'm proud to work with one that has made sustained efforts to improve diversity on screen by creating heroes that empower and inspire people of all communities everywhere. I love the Golden Age too, but it was wide as hell. That's true.
Yeah, it's not incorrect.
Yeah.
But I don't think it was a shot at him in particular. You know, and I think also like, and for now,
Yeah.
I would say that he's not. This sounds like an insult, and I guess it is. But he's
Here we
not
go.
like a movie star
Right.
yet. Like that's what he's known for
Yeah.
now.
Right.
And I don't think it was a shot at him in particular either to
No.
be like, you're not a real movie star.
Yeah.
But I think they're a level, like he's not Tom Cruise, right?
Yeah, and what I think is interesting about this particular statement is because Scorsese and Tarantino are maybe the two worst people to like level this accusation
Yeah.
at. Like whatever you think, like, okay, Scorsese's just a nice little old man, as far as I can tell. And Tarantino has had his problems. He
Absolutely.
said the N-word too many times on screen than a white man should, which is 0 times. You should say it 0 times. And maybe he tried to get Uma Thurman killed that time.
Maybe he did.
Maybe he did that. But a lot of people don't know this about Tarantino, but he loves movies. But also, a second thing that maybe fewer people know about Tarantino
Is that he hates movies.
he hates movies secretly. In the 90s, he saw a bunch of Hong Kong movies, like contemporary movies,
Yeah.
that he loved so much that he went to Miramax, which is his distributor at the time, and he set up a separate company called Rolling Thunder Films,
Yeah.
which was exclusively for finding Hong Kong movies and like Asian cinema and getting it a wider distribution in North America. And one of the movies that he saw, which he loved so much that apparently he
Was
cried.
Shang-Chi.
Yeah, that's right. Well, it was a movie called Chungking Express, and one of the stars of that movie is Tony Leung, who is in Shang-Chi. He's the Mandarin in Shang-Chi.
Yeah.
So that's there's no guarantee that if Tarantino didn't do that Tony Leung wouldn't have been in this anyway.
Oh, of course, yeah.
But
certainly would have helped.
it's interesting that he's in the middle of that Venn diagram.
I think also, and again, like you mentioned about, of course, Tarantino has had his problems because he tried to kill Uma Thurman that
Allegedly.
time, allegedly, and all these other things. But if you look at like a lot of the casting, like he put Pam Grier in the like lead of a movie, straight after Pulp Fiction,
because he thought she had like a raw deal in Hollywood. 'Cause
yeah,
she
exactly.
Just did those blaxploitation movies.
I think he's. I think they've both done like I can't remember the name of the movie, but didn't Scorsese unearth some bizarre like thought long gone foreign film?
Oh, he's done that. Yeah, I mean, he has the World Cinema Project, which has sort of restored foreign films and tries to get them out to a wider audience. But in the 90s also, he had a movie called Kundun, which was it's about the Dalai Lama in like the one from like the 50s, like the 30s, 50s era.
Yeah.
And it's about Tibet, and it has an all-Tibetan cast, and he made it for Disney. But then who was the CEO of Disney in the 90s? Michael Eisner.
Yeah.
Michael Eisner didn't like the movie, and he wanted to open up a Disneyland in China. So he sent Henry Kissinger in to talk to China, like the Henry Kissinger, former Secretary of State, still alive somehow.
He dropped his glasses in the toilet.
He dropped his glasses in the toilet that time. And basically,
look it up.
So he sent him in to negotiate with China, and China were basically like, "We don't like this."
Yeah.
Because it shows like Chinese atrocities towards Tibetans. And so Kissinger came back and was like, you should bury this.
Yeah.
And so they just didn't advertise it and what have you, and it just sank.
Yeah.
You can watch it. You can't watch it on Disney Plus.
What? No way, really?
Yeah, you can't watch it on Disney Plus. You can watch it on Foxtel in Australia. It's on Foxtel now.
Well, I will
You're not going
download
to.
the Foxtel
Okay,
app, Mason.
I've seen that oddly. I saw it years
Foxtel
ago.
app.
No, I've never seen that.
Where
but
did
I've
you
seen
see it?
Must have been on the telly.
You didn't think of 7 Years in Tibet with Brad Pitt?
No, but that was slightly earlier, and
Yeah.
apparently China didn't like
Yeah,
that
didn't
either.
like that one either. Yeah, so there you go.
But anyway,
Wow, that's a lot going on there.
a lot going on.
But yeah, I think though he's right in terms of like, Disney has like they've done some casting and they have made strides in movies for representation. I think it's also a very calculated equation of like this will get a certain number of people in, et cetera, and so forth. I think that is definitely a factor. But look, that Disney, every time they release a new movie, they have the first openly gay character or whatever, and that cannot be taken away from them.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, Mason, I see both sides.
It's great.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
A lot of people like they get hung up on one side or the other, but I see both sides, and that makes me above everything else.
Wow.
I can take a step back and go, can everyone chill out?
That's
I
just like your stance on nuclear holocaust versus racism. You can see both sides.
No, I said I see them, but they're both bad though.
Yeah.
The eclair, you got a little bit here as well.
Okay, right.
Yeah, you got it. Good stuff.
Yeah.
All right, Mason's eating a chocolate eclair.
I'm eating
everybody.
chocolate eclair. That's true.
All right,
But I mean, Simu Liu is right in that Hollywood is pretty white.
completely.
Yeah.
Yeah. I see both sides.
I know you do.
Anyways, Blade has a new director, Mason.
Oh, who is it?
So after Bassem Tariq's departure, because everything was just not moving forward, I blame the former Disney CEO.
Oh, yeah. Oh, that's perfect. You can blame anything on him now.
Chuck everything on him.
Yeah, this was Chapek. Sorry, yeah.
It was Jan DeMarge is going to be directing it.
Yeah, I know there's nothing in the vending machine, but that was
He
Chapek.
didn't fill it up.
That was his job.
His job.
He liked to do it. He said he was a man of the people. He filled it up. He filled up the vending machine.
So Jan de Barge, he most famously he worked on a number of things, but he was one of the directors who worked on Lovecraft Country. So I think that's as good as you're going to get, especially this late in the day as well. So let's see what he does. And
That's plenty spooky.
Hopefully that would be really cool because I do want to see the movie Blade, but I also want a good director for Blade. And I feel like this is like that's a
Would
good
you say
direction.
you don't want to see a bad version of Blade?
Ooh, I've seen a bad version of Blade. It's Blade 3. And I thought it was all right.
That's great, man.
Yeah. Okay. Last bit of news, Mason.
Okay.
Avatar, the new Avatar 2.
Mm-hmm.
By the way, we're doing a James Cameron-a-thon, aren't we, Mason? You got some more clear here, Mason.
I'm leaving it
Yeah,
on
okay. You leave it. That's
No, I'm
going to
gonna move
distract me, and I don't like that.
Okay.
It looks like a good eclair.
That's really good.
Yeah. So it's apparently new Avatar has we're doing a James Cameron-a-thon.
Mm-hmm.
This week it's The Abyss. Fascinating story where he tried to kill a bunch of people on that. Speaking of directors
did.
killing people. So it's Thursday.
Allegedly accidentally.
Yeah. That'll be Thursday. I know people know that, but we've moved Caravan of Garbage to Thursday. It's just been easier on the edit. Avatar 2 is going to cost somewhere between $350 to $400 million. That is outside of the marketing.
Yeah, right.
Right?
And did James Cameron said something along the lines of,
Yes.
this
Here's
better
the
do good
quote.
or my goose is cooked.
He did. This is via GQ. James Cameron said this, very fucking expensive. The worst business case in movie history. To be profitable, it has to be the third or fourth biggest movie of all time. That's your threshold. That's your break even.
Do you think GQ is short for James Cameron?
James Cameron?
Yes.
Yeah, I do actually.
Yeah.
Yeah, James Cameron. Yeah.
Magazine.
Yes. And one of the things that's going to help it with this is that it seems at this point to have secured a release in China.
Okay.
Which is going to help immensely. I think they like Avatar in China. I can't remember. I'm watching it at the moment for Caravan of Garbage, and I'm just...
And every second there you're like, does China like this?
Yeah. Those are all my notes. Does China like this
this?
big flying snake? Do I like it?
Do you like it?
No.
yeah.
Not really.
That's a shame.
No, there's a lot of things to like about it. We'll get to it.
A lot of all the Avatar discourse is gonna sort of come to a point of perfect clarity. We've all been talking about it or not talking about it for 10 years.
Yeah.
We're all going to finally
13.
get together and watch it and then go
13.
Yeah, and then go, it isn't.
Yeah.
It isn't good.
Yeah, I don't know about that. Again, I'm literally halfway watching it again on the rewatch, and I just kind of want to say a bunch of stuff. But I'll just save it for the video. But I feel like I could just If you just like poked me, I'd just like start going. So I'm just going to stop, and we'll move on, Mason.
All right.
Christmas has come early, everybody, and by that I mean Mason's going to say something.
Huzzah! Christmas is here. What a delightful time.
It's
for
actually
everyone.
not here, Mason, not just yet. But Christmas has
Wow.
come early, though, in a way. Because
In what way? What are you doing?
there was a Guardians of the Galaxy Christmas
Is
special.
it Christmas or not?
It's not, but Christmas has come early, Mason.
So it's come early, but it's not here.
No,
is what
it's not,
you're saying.
It's not Christmas
okay, right.
yet. Yeah. But what's happened?
Is this that racism, nuclear holocaust thing all over again? You can't,
No, Mason.
You can't pick a side.
I guess in a way it is.
Interesting.
But anyway, Christmas has come early, even though it's not Christmas yet. They released a Guardians of the Galaxy Christmas special on Friday.
That's true.
It was directed by James Gunn. It's shorter than a movie, but longer than a short show.
That's very true.
And what do you think the story was?
Oh, okay. All right. So it's Christmas time is coming up.
Yep.
It's here.
Yep.
Is it here?
No.
Interesting.
But Christmas has come early.
That is very true.
Yeah.
And Peter Quill's sad.
Yeah, why is he sad?
Because Christmas. Can't have Christmas in space.
No.
Or can you?
Yes.
But then Drax and Mantis are like, what if we went down to Earth and we got some very special Christmas stuff, and including a very special Christmas gift for Peter Quill.
Should we say what that is? I mean, it's in the trailer.
Oh, okay, right.
But maybe we won't just yet. Maybe we'll
Yeah.
save it for spoilers. If you haven't seen it.
Anyway, that's the plot of the Christmas
It
special.
is. I thought it was nice.
I also thought
and
it was
fun.
nice and fun.
Yeah.
Yes. Uh-huh.
And that's the extent of things I could really say in non-spoilers. I like the little animated intro at the start. We get the return of some certain
Well,
characters.
it was, as I understand it, it was intended to be an homage to the Star Wars, or at least in part, an homage to the Star Wars holiday special.
Doesn't feel like that at all.
Right, okay.
I mean, I understand what you're saying, but there is no element of
I'll
this.
find the James Gunn quote on the tweeters.
No, I get it.
Yeah, but I think at least the animated part. So we see a little animated portion at the start of the show, which is young Peter Quill. He's recently been abducted from Earth
Yep.
and brought into the Ravagers, and he's attempting to explain Christmas, and it doesn't go well. And
Yondu's like, bar humbug.
bar humbug, precisely.
Yeah, Christmas has not come early.
And then we cut to the modern day, the year 2025 or 2026 or whatever.
Yeah.
This is set now. Do you think a lot of people are like, oh, the Marvel timeline now it's set in like 2026? I think it's just.
I don't care.
No, I don't. I think
I think it's, what are we, 2024? I think we're a couple of years ahead at least.
My assumption is that the last couple of Marvel movies have just gone, yeah, it's roughly now again.
Okay. Well, I know it had to jump ahead because of Endgame or whatever.
Yeah.
Because there was like 5 years in between. But
Yeah. So anyway, Jesse AC has asked James Gunn, James, why did you go with animation for the flashbacks? I love them, but curious what drew you in that direction. And James Gunn said, I wanted to do the Star Wars holiday special, but done right. No offense, Mark Hamill. I like the idea of the music and the mixed media and the off-the-rails nature, but not necessarily the way everything was assembled.
yeah, well, I guess, yeah, that makes sense because there is an animated section of the Star Wars holiday special, isn't there, Mason?
Yeah.
Introduces one Boba Fett,
That's right.
which became a wonderful TV show eventually down the line. Yeah, there's a few things that they kind of introduce or reintroduce to the universe. They've set up some things for more like move some pieces in place for Guardians 3. I think you probably have to see this. I mean, you probably, if you're going to see Guardians 3, you're probably going to see this anyway.
As an example, the Guardians have the Guardians are at least the Ravagers and the Guardians, maybe a combination, have purchased Nowhere, which is the
But they
Celestial
also
head.
say from the Collector, who I guess is alive?
Yeah, I think he is, yeah.
Yeah. Because all that thing was an illusion, whatever. When
Yeah, that's right.
But he's alive and he's fine
Yeah.
and whatever.
Or maybe he died and came back. Maybe he
I don't know. I don't know what he's doing.
Yeah.
There's a few characters like Cosmo the Space Dog is introduced, which I enjoyed quite a bit.
Or reintroduced.
That's true. There's buff squat Groot is in this.
That's right.
What do you think of that new design?
I think it's quite nice. Yeah. Oh, because the original adult Groot was sort of taller and quite
Looks like
rangy.
He's more like
like
a power lifter Groot.
That's right. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's apparently all CGI for people who wonder.
Yeah.
It does. I mean, maybe that's the.
I saw someone say like that Groot suit was amazing,
Yeah.
and then James Gunn was like, "No, it's
You idiot! I tricked you. You've fallen for one of the classic James Gunn pranks. The classic James Gunn Christmas pranks.
he's known for it. He's known
That's
for
right.
it, Mason."
But I think maybe that's what it's intended to look like, a guy in a suit. I think.
Yeah, okay, I
perhaps.
can understand that. Yeah, because obviously the other designs of Groot, you could never get somebody in any of that.
Baby Groot, certainly.
Baby Groot, maybe. Yeah, well, you're right, Mason. I think there is a selection of existing and original Christmas songs, which I quite like. There's an opening Christmas song which a band sings who, from their understanding of what Christmas is, from like third-hand information, which I enjoyed quite a bit. My brother actually messaged me this, and I completely agree.
The one that I don't like.
The one you don't like. Yeah. And Kraglin's head fin is really gross.
It's super
like the way
gross,
the
yeah.
skin comes up over it.
Yeah.
Hate it.
Well, I mean, that's so. What is? I'm not sure if you have the budget there, or if we can track that down.
I don't think I do. I
But-
can have a quick look.
What I thought was interesting about this is it is clearly like a step down from a a Marvel movie, obviously, in terms of.
Well, there's less. There's like a location, and
Yeah.
then it's Earth, which
Exactly,
is obviously
yeah.
cheaper to film in than.
Well, exactly. I
maybe
thought that was interesting, because James Gunn, as we know, started out in horror.
Yeah.
And sort of low budget kind of trauma and gross stuff. And speaking of gross stuff, and I think he's done a lot with a little here.
Yeah.
There's one.
I think
exactly.
they just squeezed this in because this was a couple days of shooting.
Yeah, right.
Well, the stuff in space at least, and they just squeezed it into the shoot.
Oh,
of
Guardians 3, right?
yeah.
Okay, yeah. But yeah, so there's essentially one location which is sort of a town square inside nowhere, and then there's just a couple of spaceships, couple of spaceships, like a Hollywood Boulevard on Earth, and then like a house, clearly someone's house that they've just rented out in Hollywood. One of those houses that is just
they film pornography in normal.
Exactly, that's exactly what I'm thinking of. Yes.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that'll be it for non-spoilers, though, for me.
But I mean, it's on Disney Plus, folks. You don't have to go out there and get it if you already have Disney Plus. It is free.
It is free,
as we
absolutely.
know.
Right, and we encourage you to watch those things for free, but legally, don't we, Mason?
Yep.
Let's do some spoilers.
Wink.
Anyway, best holiday special ever?
Best holiday special ever.
Yeah.
Do you think it's the best Marvel special presentation ever?
Better than Werewolf by Night?
Yeah.
Well, Mason, I see both sides.
Oh, here we go.
Because they're doing different things. One is horror.
There he is.
And one has Kraglin's weird.
James, does your bum and inner thighs hurt from sitting on that fence so hard, James?
Yes.
For so long?
Yeah, no,
Wow.
it does. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Huh.
And you mean literally, because that's what I do.
Yeah.
Yeah, I squat on a fence.
That's right.
Hours in between film
Yeah.
the recording of this. Yeah, but no. Yeah, maybe.
You know what I liked? I like that Mantis got a chance to. Pom Clemente.
Mantis got a chance to.
Mantis got a chance to sort of shine in this because, she's pretty much, she had a little bit of screen time in Guardians 2, and then, of course, she was in
Infinity War.
Yeah, for a second.
And she had a little bit to do in Infinity War, less in Endgame, obviously.
Yeah, that's true.
But, absolutely right.
And no screen time in... is she even in Thor: Love and Thunder? She is.
She's in it, yeah.
Right, yeah.
I mean, they're all in it.
Yeah, they're all in it, aren't they?
No, yeah, that's true. This is definitely more of a Drax Mantis focused situation.
Good fun. I even liked Chris Pratt in this.
Yeah,
I thought he was delightful.
Yeah, no, he's a good Peter
He does
Quill.
have a charisma to him, doesn't he?
Certainly does, yeah. Wow, that was the biggest backhand compliment. I even liked Chris Pratt in this.
Yeah.
I see both sides, so it's fine for me. Spoilers, Mason.
Mm-hmm.
So Mantis, as suspected, is actually Peter Quill's sister.
Yeah.
And she wants to get him the perfect Christmas gift. But what could it be, Mason? Now you say something.
It's Kevin Bacon.
That's right.
Steal Kevin Bacon.
The real Kevin Bacon. And so they Mantis and Drax travel to Earth to find real Kevin Bacon, who they are disgusted to discover is actually an actor.
It turns out everyone in space... Well, a couple of things that I loved about this. One... Everyone in space hates actors for some reason. They all think they're scum.
There's a line that Drax just says, he says, "We hate you" to Kevin Bacon. And it's just, the delivery is just, Dave Bautista's amazing.
Yeah. And also, in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, the GoBots are real. And they killed one of Drax's relatives, apparently.
But also, they're a cartoon.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. There is a moment when they visit, Hollywood Boulevard, and they see who they think is Steve Rogers, and...
There's a Captain Marvel.
Marvel or whatever. It's a little bit confusing because it's like there's a Jack Sparrow. It's like Hollywood Boulevard is a mixture of real life superheroes and GoBots, which are also real.
Yep.
And
but that would happen, I think. If we had real superheroes, there'd be people.
No, you're right. You're absolutely right. Oh yeah, no, I'm not complaining, Mason. I also enjoy when they're flying the ship over. And people are kind of looking up, and some people are just like, okay, whatever. Other people are crying because it's like,
because on account of all their family was killed.
Like, what does it mean when a spaceship shows up now in the Marvel universe? Probably bad. I enjoyed how they take on the cops, and I think it highlighted like the strength of Drax and Mantis compared to regular people, because you only see them really fighting like space creatures and deities and whatever.
Thanoses and so forth.
Yeah, whereas if you put them up against normal people in cars, it's like Drax is bulletproof and he can just flip a car with no problem at all. I like how he thought that giant candy cane was a man.
Reason. Yeah.
Yeah. No, I liked when they went to the bar and whatever. It was a lot of fun. Kevin Bacon was really good in this as well.
Sure,
as playing himself. How much version?
Do you think when they get a celebrity in to play themselves?
Yeah.
Do you think they go, "What kind of car do you have, Kevin Bacon? Oh, a Tesla will give you a Tesla."
Does he have a Tesla in this?
Yeah, he's all these Christmas presents. I just think it's okay, right? Yeah. It's interesting.
You'd think he'd have Stark Tech and not something shitty, Mason.
Absolutely. Well, it's interesting that but what I found interesting, I felt it was noticeable in its absence, is Kevin Bacon, the actor in this, or Kevin Bacon, the character, seems to be completely oblivious to any of this before this moment.
Yeah, it's like they took real world Kevin Bacon and put him in the Marvel universe to get kidnapped.
He isn't like, oh, aliens, I get it. Like the time when Endgame happened, you'd say,
Yeah, you're absolutely
But he was
right.
like, what is that? You'd get it in this universe, I think, you know?
Yeah, well,
he probably played some of these characters on screen, maybe.
On a biopic and whatever, yeah.
There was also no references to his character in X-Men, which I thought was interesting.
Oh, yeah. That's interesting. Well, maybe in this universe he wasn't in X-Men, Mason. He wasn't pre-Magneto.
We should ask him if we ever see him.
Yeah, I think we should. He'd love
But,
that.
do you think his house looks anything like that house?
No, I think they probably didn't use his real house.
Yeah.
I don't reckon. Well, maybe something similar. Also, that's his real wife on the phone as well.
All right,
talking to him,
which is
fun. But
I also liked his tiny little coffee table. Did you see that? He goes into his living room and there's like a couch that is as wide as his entire house, and then he's got like a coffee table.
What is he even doing?
Yeah,
because his family's not there.
That's true.
And
he's
it's
watching
Christmas.
He's watching Santa Claus Conquers the Martians. Yeah, where were they?
He's having
Great question.
Or they were coming home, or he was going.
Maybe his wife was coming home to serve him divorce papers.
Maybe,
because in this universe she's divorcing him.
He also mentions Batman.
Yeah.
And we've talked about this before, but because I think, what movie is it? There's another Superman is maybe mentioned in Eternals or something.
He is, yeah.
So
thus far in the MCU, the DC characters are fictional characters. Maybe they're in movies or comic books or what have you.
Until one company buys another company.
That's right. But in DC, nobody's mentioned anybody, I don't think.
I don't think they want to give him the publicity race.
That's true. Because people would immediately storm out of the theater. If Batman was like, Spider-Man would never act like that. People would be like, oh my God, I forgot Spider-Man exists. How'd he go?
Oh, I thought you meant because they're mad.
Oh.
But yeah, absolutely. But I like how, Mantis used her powers on him to present him to Peter Quill.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought his reaction was quite funny, where he wasn't like charmed or impressed at all. He was just like, "You've kidnapped a man, and why did you do this?"
Yeah.
And then and Kevin Bacon, in the spirit of Christmas, comes around and decides to sing a song with them and whatever. And it was really great, and it was really fun.
Fun. You know who I think really sells tender moments in these movies and presentations and etc. Sean Gunn, I think he's very good.
I agree, yeah.
He brings a little bit, it could be a bit too schmaltzy, but he's sort of like this.
He's got a bit of that magic, doesn't he?
He does have a little bit of the magic, even with that disgusting fin on his head. Even when he's a gross fin-headed cyborg monster, he's still, he brings a little sentiment, but it doesn't seem schmaltzy, which I think is very good.
I completely agree. Yeah, no, it does come. I like that bit where he's explaining like what happened after that and the true meaning of Christmas and all of that. And Yondu, it turns out that he was actually.
He was enraptured in the magic of Christmas.
By the gift, and he gave Peter Quill some guns.
His signature guns.
I really enjoyed the unwrapping of the presents, though, for everybody. So Rocket got Bucky's arm.
Yep.
Which one?
That's a great question. It looks like his Wakandan arm.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Because that's the one he wanted.
Yeah.
So.
Well, that's true, yeah. So I don't know whether that
It wasn't his Russian one.
No, it didn't say. They didn't have the star on it, at least. Somebody, I think, Groot got a Game Boy, which also is terrible. Like, because Groot plays the fancy schmance, he's got the video game system in one of the Infinity War movies and whatever.
Yeah, right.
Like the Game Boy, that would suck. And Kraglin,
maybe he likes the retro charm to it.
That's true.
Yeah.
Well, I liked
but he didn't get any. Was there one cartridge in that?
Probably Tetris.
Probably
Tetris.
Normally, Super Mario Land. Maybe.
But I liked how they all got dioramas of themselves, and Kraglin's diorama was a diorama of him holding his diorama. Yeah. That was fun.
Did they look real to you? Do you think they were CG?
I didn't think about it. I don't know. I'd have to have another look. You didn't think they looked real?
They looked a little CG. Not that I'm complaining.
Well, it sounds like you're complaining.
I am complaining, actually.
Did it take you out of the movie and
yes.
whatever? The holiday special?
I was like, oh my God, I forgot Spider-Man exists. I'm going to go watch that.
Absolutely, yeah. I think I want another thing that highlights that James Gunn does really well in this. So he does do heart and schmaltz very well, as mentioned. Like he does that in all of his movies, except for Super, which is mostly just gross. And there's a bit of it in there. But he's really good at picking semi-obscure but also really catchy songs to put in.
That's
he
true.
doesn't make the obvious choice.
Yeah.
And I think there's a lot of movies.
I loved all the Bullet with Butterfly Wings.
Yeah.
Drops in this.
Well, that was my example of a bad example where somebody just went, okay, paint it black. Yep. All right. Someone got rinsed this week for liking that on Twitter. I saw somebody was like, I like the bit where the paint it black and The Rock took on the army. And
it was like,
boo, you suck. Watch a real movie, idiot. Kill yourself. I see both sides.
Yeah,
though.
it's true you do. Yeah, that's true. Yeah. You hope he would see a real movie and kill himself. So. And so three sides in that instance.
Yeah. So I just highlighted to me that that's interesting that he can do that thing. Got some Easter eggs, Mason.
Okay, I'm ready.
God of War was mentioned.
That's true. Because Drax looks a little bit like Kratos.
That's right.
Have you finished that yet? God of War?
No.
Okay.
I will.
Oh,
at the moment, I
talk.
got to get stuck more into it, but it does feel.
That's not the attitude of the God of War.
I agree. He's like, come on. You know what he's like. But it feels, and I got to get into it more, of like, it feels like an expansion pack of the previous one, but I know it's not.
Okay, right.
I just need to I'm in very early days and I just need to do more of it.
Okay.
Kingo, did you see?
It's a Kingo Christmas,
in
sure.
the background.
There's been more references to Kingo in subsequent Marvel stuff than any real Kingo content.
They're friends as well.
James Gunn and Camille.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Because I remember he used to go on the Indoor Kids, like,
Oh,
before
right,
either of them were this famous. Fleur Borg is in this.
Who is he in this?
Lula Borg. Is it in the bartender?
Oh, okay. Ah, that's why he seemed familiar.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think he's
because
the
he was
bartender.
Javelin.
Yes, he's definitely in it. We see a map, a Hollywood stars map, and there's a few people on there, but we get John Cena and Margot Robbie, who, of course, both in the Suicide Squad, and one of them is in Peacemaker. And as I mentioned, Kyra.
Which one?
Don't know. Kyra Sedgwick.
That's Kevin Bacon's
wife, who
Yeah.
is in this.
Okay,
Is the
right.
voice.
Oh,
of-
she had a separate house.
Yeah, she did.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
Oh,
no,
no.
not on the map. No, she was on the
Okay,
phone, I should say.
Oh, right,
No, I
right.
mentioned that.
Okay, there you go.
Yeah.
She was in The Closer.
Which one's that?
She was a profiler or something.
Oh,
FBI profiler. If that's who I'm thinking of.
it might be what you're thinking of, Mason.
Maybe.
He also said, James Gunn talked about to Deadline about what this means for Volume 3. He says, I don't have to talk so the advantage is I don't have to talk about where they got the new Guardians HQ, nowhere from, or Cosmo being around nowhere. And Volume 3 has a lot of heaviness to it, so shooting that for a few days and then shooting this goofy thing these days were like my recess. So there you go. I think it was more than a couple of days of filming, obviously.
All right.
But yeah, so it seems like it's going to be a little bit heavy, this Guardians of the Galaxy
no.
Volume 3, and bring everything together in such a way, etc., and so forth,
Okay, sure.
if you know what I mean.
I don't.
I wonder,
Yes.
and I'd love to know the metrics on this, so you might be able to answer this.
Okay.
Ask your dad.
I will.
How does it compare putting something out like this or Werewolf by Night? But I would say more so this because this is obviously more well known compared to doing 8 to 10 episodes of something. Like there
right.
must be a point in 8 to 10 episodes where you're not gaining more subscribers, right?
Because people would have either jumped on for episode 1
Yeah.
or they would have heard, oh, it's pretty good, you should sign up by like episode 4 or
Yeah.
something like that, right?
And maybe I think there are exceptions to that where like maybe, for example, word of mouth about Andor spreads how it's really good and then more people kind of sign on
Yeah, yeah.
after it finishes. But like how does something like what would the boost from just a 40-minute something like this compare to
Great question.
doing a She-Hulk or doing a Moon
Yeah,
Knight
right.
or whatever?
But perhaps Disney Plus doesn't play by the same rules as Netflix. Maybe they're like, if we sort of drip feed one of these every few months,
Yeah.
we retain viewers.
Oh,
Maybe
okay, I
there's
get you.
another,
Yeah,
maybe there's
totally.
another metric
You
there.
did have an answer.
Ha! Didn't even have to call Dad.
Yeah, I see what you're
Maybe
saying.
that's it. Yeah, maybe they notice a downtick in people cancelling.
Yeah,
You know,
you might be right.
They go, okay, we'll put X thousands of people drop off every month, but then they stay.
Would you have gotten, if you hadn't had Disney Plus for whatever reason, would you have got it for this or torrented it?
I mean, well, that's a great question, James. But that implies that I'd be a completely different person, James.
Yes.
because that would suggest that
I would love
haven't-
that.
Yeah, I know, me too, honestly. But that would suggest that I haven't seen any of the previous
Yes,
stuff.
you're
and
right. Yeah.
So I probably wouldn't be interested.
Yeah.
You know, if I didn't like Marvel stuff.
Maybe if you were just, let's say, this completely different person
Okay.
for you. Maybe you were just a movie guy. You're not coming on.
Am I a
for
movie
Moon-
star?
No,
Oh.
you're not coming on for a Moon Knight because you only like the Marvel movies.
Oh,
so
I
you're not
see,
going to
right,
come
right.
and watch Moon Knight.
Okay.
What does that mean for you? What does it mean for me? Who would I do this show with? Still
great-
you, a guy who doesn't watch any of this stuff?
Every week I'm like, I didn't see it, and I won't.
Yeah, I don't know. I'd be interested if anybody like signed up for Disney Plus for this.
Solely based
specifically.
on this, yeah.
I don't know. Yeah. Anyway, even just the idea of like, what's the benefit of putting in, say, this was $20 million? I don't know.
right.
But then again, if they've already built the set and they've factored in the budget and whatever, I can't imagine it'd be that costly comparatively to building a whole thing from scratch.
Yeah.
Like, what's the benefit of putting this amount of money as opposed to like putting $100 million into something? Yeah. Anyway, wow.
We'll never know.
No, we won't.
Unless somebody asks James Gunn and he tells you.
And then we know.
Then we know.
All right, Mason, it's time to move forward, though.
Okay.
Well, what are we going to do?
What are we going to, James, what are we going to do?
What are we going to do?
Panic stations, everyone.
I agree.
What can we do? How about,
Yeah.
failing a new idea, we, in fact, just do our regular segment, one of our most famous segments, what
Yeah.
we read and what we're going to read.
I can do that.
Okay, great.
Do it right now. Mason, I didn't plug it into my computer.
Ho,
Here we go. Let's do it
Classic
for real.
this guy.
That was a joke. This one's real.
That was a good joke.
Thanks.
This guy can't even operate Disney Plus.
Here we go. I'm doing a thing. What are we reading today? Mason,
Yes, hello.
what have you been doing?
I'll tell you what I watched today.
What?
I watched a classic of the genre, the classic buddy comedy.
Beverly Hills Cop 3?
No.
Oh.
You have another guess?
Beverly Hills Cop 2.
I'll give you one more guess, and if you get it wrong, I'm going to punch you in the back of the head. Or you could just leave it.
Metro.
I kill
Eddie
you!
Murphy's Metro, Mason.
I kill you!
It's not really a buddy cop. It's just him mostly, isn't it?
No, I watch Planes, Trains, and Automobiles.
Oh, for Thanksgiving.
Yes. Well, for two reasons. One, because it's Thanksgiving, but also Vanity Fair recently published an article that was about the oral history of Planes, Trains, and Automobiles. It is apparently the 35th anniversary of the movie, so they're doing a new restoration, etc.
There was a deleted scene released.
Yeah, there's a bunch
apparently John Candy was very nice all the time.
That's what they say about him. Yeah. The apparently the new version has like a lot of digital noise reduction on it, so it's quite plasticky looking. So watch the original version if you can.
Yuck and
but anyway, super fun. If people haven't seen it, the late John Hughes directed it, and it's Steve Martin and John Candy. They're two strangers who meet. One drives the other one crazy. You can guess which is which. No. But they've got to work together because they've got 2 days to get across country for Thanksgiving, and of course, there's no. Everything's booked out and everything's everything's on fire. What do you do? Exactly. It's very funny. Have you seen it?
I've seen it. Yeah, it's good.
But my favorite part about the article, the oral history of it, there's a bunch of great stories in it. People should check it out if they can, and they can because it's free.
Yeah.
But so there's a moment towards the end of the movie where they are sort of stranded in this quite snowy town. It's all snowed in, but luckily John Candy has somehow convinced a truck driver to give him a lift. But of course, the driver's a bit freaky about letting people in his cabin, so they have to sit in the refrigerated trailer in the back.
Yes.
Anyway, so the actor who played the truck driver was this guy Troy Evans, and
Troy Evans.
I think you'd probably recognize him if you saw him.
Well, that guys.
But he got the gig.
Oh, yeah.
So he got the gig. When he got the gig, it was going to be in Los Angeles where he lived, and they were going to pay him $1,000 for the day, just to get in and do a line, and then get out, and you get to be in a John Hughes movie. So he's like, this is great. So then he gets a call later from the production, and they're like, oh, so the forecast in New York is there's going to be a big snowfall, and John Hughes wants the town to be really snowy looking and really really seasonal kind of thing. So we're moving the production to New York, and so Evans is like, oh, so does that mean I'm not in the movie anymore? And they're like, no, we'll fly you to New York, and same deal, $1,000 for the day. And he thinks great. So he gets flown to New York, and on the shooting day, it doesn't snow. So they're like, not to worry, it'll probably snow tomorrow. So we'll give you another $1,000 to just stick around, and it'll snow tomorrow. You can do the scene, you can do the one line, you can go home. And he's like, great. But it doesn't snow the next day, or the next day, or the next day. So then they move to another city because they're following the forecast because it's going to snow somewhere else. And then they move to another city. So it goes.
And we're just CGI'd now.
The production goes to 11 cities, and he's on standby for 50 days.
Oh my God.
And on the 51st day, they're in Illinois or somewhere, and it finally snows the way John Hughes wanted it to snow. And so he gets in, and he does the line, and he slams the door of the truck, and then he goes home. And so the quote from Evans is, when I left for New York, I didn't have enough money for rent. And then when I went home, my wife and I bought our first house. And here's the thing, because the reason I watched the movie is because
I thought you were going to be like, and they screwed him out of the money.
No, they didn't.
Yeah.
It was insane. And so the reason I watched the movie is because he says in the interview, he's like, oh yeah, I had this one line in this thing, and I'm like, I don't remember that character having a line at all. So I went back and watched the whole movie, which is, good bit of fun. He doesn't say anything. They cut this line out. So we didn't do it. Like literally you see John Candy gets out of his truck and he's there, and then he just looks perturbed and he closes the door of the truck.
God damn.
And that's it. And he got $51,000 for it.
That's insane.
But yeah, you're right.
What year was that?
87?
Next, I'm going to check to this. $50,000. I want to know how much.
Okay.
Inflation calculator.
Yeah, nice. US inflation calculator?
No.
Oh, wow.
No, Mason, of course it is. Let's do 50,000 euro.
No, James, no.
Why is this so complicated? Just give me the fucking number. Oh, that's today. It's $131,000.
There you go.
Oh, fucking hell.
Yeah, right. So maybe in the new restoration he gets the line put back in. But
yeah, maybe he does. You'd think so.
Yeah.
Is he alive?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He was in Bosch.
Bosch?
The TV series
Wait,
Bosch.
Bosch or Bosch reboot? Bosch new? Bosch new?
I think both.
I'm a new Bosch. I'm your new Bosch.
New Bosch, same as the old Bosch. I think they're both.
Great, terrific.
Yeah, people should check that out.
Yeah, it's a good movie if you haven't seen it.
Also, young Kevin Bacon's in it for like 2 seconds.
How young?
Whatever age he was in 1987.
20-ish?
Yeah, 20-ish.
25, 28?
Yeah, 25, 28.
Kevin Bacon is 67 years old.
That's insane.
I agree.
Yeah. How's he still alive?
Great question. I mentioned this last week, but I actually read it all. 2 volumes of a righteous thirst for justice, for vengeance. God, this title, I always get it wrong. Let me double check that because I've written it wrong here. I don't want to get it wrong. Yeah, Righteous Thirst for Vengeance. It's by Rick Remender. Remender?
Rick Remender, yeah.
It's about a guy, and it's kind of unclear, I feel like, at the start of how this kind of happens, but you kind of piece it together more as it goes along. He somehow gets onto the dark web and starts, like, looking at the contracts that are happening and tries to, like, interfere and, like, help out.
Oh, like if
and
there's
whatever.
murder contracts or something.
Yeah,
right.
and so he's just suddenly, like, in the underworld, and he's just, like, a regular guy.
Oh, but he's trying to stop this stuff. He's not trying to be a criminal.
Yeah, no, I think, yeah, sort of.
right.
It's kind of like...
He's just a dad.
Not really, sort of, yeah, but he's just like a guy. And then, like, his skills, obviously...
Does he have dad skills?
Yeah, a little bit, yeah.
He's got a dad attitude.
Yeah, like, he's cunning, but he's like a guy.
Oh, cunning like a dad.
Cunning like a dad would be. And he looks like Benedict Wong. Like, so I think if they make this movie, they should just put Benedict Wong in 100%.
What a world you can be in if, like, a comic book artist or somebody is just like, my character looks like Benedict Wong, and then you hear about it and you're like, yes, I'm in.
Yeah, absolutely.
I can be in this movie. So, well, I mean, yes, in one way. So... I don't know if we've mentioned on the podcast before. There was Rick Remender wrote a comic book series called The Last Days of American Crime.
Oh, yeah, you talked about that.
I enjoyed a lot, which is about a sort of a near future America where the government decides to create a device that makes people unable to commit crime, and so a bunch of ne'er-do-wells decide they've got a week to commit the biggest heist ever, and get out with the money before they physically can't do it anymore. And that was turned into a Netflix movie, which I was going to watch, but then every review was like, "This is the worst movie Netflix has ever made."
I forgot they made that.
And that's saying something.
Yeah,
so,
and that's saying something.
Yeah.
Oh man.
So I don't know. So I would like to. This sounds intriguing,
It's
and
good.
I would love to.
I love torture. You're gonna love it.
I don't like that though.
Oh, then you might not like it that much.
Wait, getting tortured or doing torture?
You're getting tortured.
I don't like that.
Okay.
Anyway, I would like to see this as a movie with Benedict Wong, as long as they do
or a
it
series
right.
or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's really good. I really like
Terrific,
it. Yeah, I mean, you could cast somebody else, but yeah, he looks just like him. Anything else, Mason?
Okay.
Oh, Rick and Morty just started again.
Oh, did it?
I
Okay.
forgot. And it was
that's
like got to
what
like
happens.
Thursday, and I'm like, oh shit, Rick and Morty's back, and it's good. It's a good season.
Okay,
Yeah.
great, terrific. Is it more lore heavy or is it more like
It got very meta last week.
Okay, right.
They went and fought. I can't even explain it, Mason.
Okay,
it
I'll
was just
watch
like various meta super villains and heroes, and they had like names that sounded like story beats and whatever, but they were also real names and whatever.
Oh, okay,
it
right.
was one of those episodes where it's like, I can't keep up with this.
I might have to start the
This
season.
is-
I might have to start the season again. I think the last one I saw was with Evil Morty. It was
Oh,
was
okay,
there
yeah.
an
So you
Evil
haven't
Morty
watched this.
episode?
You haven't watched this season at all, then?
No, I think I watched some of it.
Yeah, because that was the. Why did they bring him back? No, they haven't brought him back this season. Yet.
What was the name of the team that they're like a Guardians of the
the
Galaxy?
Interceptors or something like that?
Yeah, they had. There's
some shorts.
There's a series of like 2-minute shorts on YouTube if
Yeah.
people want to track them down. Yeah.
I did already.
Okay then.
Well,
I meant
let's-
other people.
Nah.
Cooler people.
Nah.
Also, we're going to watch Glass Onion, so we might talk about that next week or
For a second, I thought you'd done a fake title for something,
right.
but it's called Glass Onion.
It's called Glass Onion. Yeah.
Yeah, so go and see that
Yeah.
if you are so inclined. Yeah. All right, let's move it along, Mason.
Okay, let's play the letters theme because the next segment, maybe one of our most famous segments,
Yeah.
is the letters segment.
I love how you think, Mason.
So I'm going to play this theme.
Let's do it.
The classic one was.
Letters.
Boo!
Oh, mate.
Love you. Some letters.
What are you booing there?
I don't know.
Okay, me being helpful
Yeah,
by
I-
playing the letters theme?
Yeah, I
Right
see
now, we're
that,
gonna do
but I
this.
also see that some people don't like it. I see both sides.
All right, great. Are you one of those people that doesn't like it?
No, I see both sides.
Oh, so you don't have a firm. You're not going to say either way.
No, because I
Okay.
see both sides, Mason.
Wow.
I'm above it, and I
Wow.
see both sides.
That's terrific.
Yeah. Anyway, if you do want to reach the show, hashtag WeeklyPlanetPod on Twitter. Just shoot us a Gmail at weeklyplanetpod@gmail.com.
Here's an email from Daniel.
Whoops.
He's emailed weeklyplanetpod@gmail.com. Hello, Mr. Sunday and the two Jameses.
What up, dog?
Makes sense. I blitzed through all your pods and Big Sandwich over the last 18 months.
my
Great
God.
laughs, great mates. People always put in a bit of a sob story here, so while I was in hospital last week, I caught up with you guys as a respite with crap 3G reception in the middle of the sick house.
Woo!
Cheers for the company. So at university, I lived with one of Alan Moore's daughters, and she popped home to see family, leaving me in the house on my own. The only instruction was that if Nick Cage calls on the house phone, not to give any mobile numbers out, as he'd been stalking Alan trying to chat to him. As it turns out, he didn't call. A shame.
Ah.
I have other interesting anecdotes about Alan Moore, but don't want to breach the circle of trust. Sorry. How about doing some caravan of garbage around Nick Cage, maybe linking to the Spider-Verse next year?
Yeah, I mean, there's so many. I mean, where would we even start? What direction do we take it in? I mean, his weird, like, action crap, I assume, would be, like, next, knowing, like, that kind of...
His face, I mean, I feel we get the most traction for, like, a face-off.
We did a commentary on
for face-off, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Anyways, keep up the good work. Cheers from Dan.
Thanks, Dan.
Dan the man, I'm going to call him.
Dan, send us some secret Alan Moore stories. We won't mention them, though.
I thought you said for a second there, send us some cigarettes.
But Dan, some cigarettes.
You send us some cigarettes and some
They're really
secrets.
expensive in Australia.
They are, right?
Well, maybe we could do Con Air. Like, that's a good one.
That's true.
There's a bunch of stuff. Yeah, maybe if we did, like, Face Off, Con Air. We'll probably do National Treasure at some point.
Terrific.
I'm guessing. Those two movies.
When that series comes out, or it's already out?
Yes.
Is it out?
I don't know. You know what I do want to do?
What's that?
Because this reminded me, there's The Sorcerer's Apprentice. I want to do the movies that are a big shot at Disney making a franchise that, like, disappeared.
Yeah, right.
So, like, Sorcerer's Apprentice.
Yep.
John Carter.
Yep.
Maybe
what about that one with the little Irish boy who was the supervillain? I've forgotten the name.
Oh, yeah, whatever. Yeah, that one.
Artemis Fowl.
Yeah, was that a movie? That was a movie, wasn't it?
movie,
Yeah, shit like that.
That was
exactly.
one of the earliest Disney Plus, like, COVID pandemic.
Yeah.
We'll chuck it on Disney Plus because it's awful.
Yeah, and
situations.
Chop it to bits.
Chop it to bits.
More like Fartimus Bowel.
Nice.
I haven't seen it, Mason.
I've seen it.
I've got a have you?
Yeah, eventually.
Why?
I saw this.
I know you saw the video on it.
Well, yeah, I saw the Nando V Movies video
Yeah,
about it,
yeah.
and I'm like, well, I should watch the movie to see if it's
And?
bad. And it's bad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He was right.
Yeah.
In many ways, you didn't have to watch it.
No, it's true. I could have just watched that video.
Yeah. This is from Justin, #Weekly Planet Pod. Mr. Sunday Movies and at Wikipedia Brown. You guys have got to watch the new Santa Claus series on Disney Plus. It's like whoever wrote it watched your videos and made a series answering all of your questions about how the universe actually works. I've heard this a few times from people. That is fascinating to me. It seems as if maybe somebody watched our videos and then addressed it. I mean, people have had these questions about this series, I assume, outside of us.
Yeah, right.
But they directly reference, like, what happened to Mrs. Claus's brain,
Right,
and their kids growing up in the North Pole, and all of these things that we talked about.
Because we wondered if when a woman becomes Mrs. Claus, she loses her personality and her
and
will to
apparently
live,
she's got, like,
essentially.
no memories or doesn't remember her name. They also addressed the previous Santa Claus before Tim Allen, which we were also confused about. But again, I think these are, like, general questions. But I would love to revisit this. Yes.
Let me erase any doubts in your mind, James. We've never had an original thought. So
Well, that's true.
It's probably somebody
exactly. Else. So I think it's a bit presumptuous to be like, anybody watched anything we did.
It's true. But I mean, those videos don't get no views. They get some views.
Yeah, but they're not like. They don't get like 10 million views.
They're not
a video
Mr.
or
Beast videos.
We're not doing a big Mr. Beast situation where everybody lick this plane for $1 million and then you keep the plane. I'll kill you. What? Lick it. I'll kill you.
Sometimes, folks, after we record a podcast, we watch a Mr. Beast video as a sort of reward
We do.
to ourselves. And the last one we watched was how long can a bunch of YouTubers touch a plane? The last one to let go of the plane.
Gets $1 million.
Gets $1 million in a plane.
And I do kill
And they're
you.
all like, well, it's fascinating because they're all like, again, they're all wired as YouTubers. So
Yeah.
Mr. Beast
They're
is
all like up here. Like,
yeah, the whole time. And like Mr. Beast is like, what are you going to do with this plane? Or who are you going to give this plane to? And the guy's like, oh man, I'm going to give it to my brother because he works so hard or whatever. And it's like, what does that mean? It's a Learjet or whatever. Like, can your brother fly this Learjet?
Yeah, what do you mean? Is he going to just like privately like fly people around as a pilot?
And then he gets to the end and that guy wins.
Yeah.
And he's like, he brings his brother in. His brother's is also wired to be a YouTuber.
Yeah.
He's like, oh my God, you did it. You won me a plane.
Apparently, a lot of
Imagine if I brought you into a room and I was like, James, I won you this plane. You'd be like, ugh.
why?
Do I have to rent this hangar? You'd say? How much is that going to cost?
Apparently, Mr. Beast like often is just like all the money.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's funny because like all of them are like massively successful YouTubers, like way more than me. Like there's just a different level, and then he's a level above that.
Yeah,
So just that dynamic is
Yeah,
really
right.
interesting in itself. But like for me, if he was like, put your hand on this plane for a week or whatever,
Yeah.
I'd be like, no. So I don't understand. Like they would have more money than us.
Yeah.
Without question.
Yeah, yeah.
Without it, they do one video that would do better than everything we do for the entire year.
Yeah.
But I guess it's for the clout, I guess.
Yeah,
I don't
maybe.
get it. Also, I'm like, I fucking hate everybody in this room. Just terrible.
Oh, because you'd be in a room with all the other Australian YouTubers.
Maybe, I don't
Or
know.
the local guys.
Yeah, whatever that even fucking looks like.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know anything about Australian YouTube, to be honest. I've never been to an event. Who's famous here? Like, I don't
know. We could be walking past
I
them
don't
every
know.
day.
Like, I
We don't
honestly
know.
don't. I've no fucking idea.
We could be walking past them every day and they recognize us and they're like, oh.
Yeah, but just, I don't know, man. Like, that level of, like, YouTube, and I don't know if this, like, Mr. Beast, he's done a lot of charity stuff as far as I'm aware. Like, they just seem like a pack of fucking psychos. Like, to be honest, I don't know that for a fact.
Yeah.
Obviously, but
Yeah.
just, I don't know. There's just
Yeah.
something's missing there.
That's interesting that you're not taking both sides here.
No, not on this
It's
one.
interesting that in a lot of arenas you would take both sides, but when we watch those Mr. Beast videos, there's one guy who whenever he comes on screen, you're like, oh, he kicked that guy in the head.
I do say that. I'm not going to name him.
Because you don't know his name.
I don't know his name. Yeah, I do want to kick him.
He's one of Mr. Beast's friends.
I want to kick him so hard, mate.
Anyway, it's a bit of fun. The videos are a bit of fun, aren't they?
They're pretty good, aren't
Yeah,
they? They're
yeah.
they're very watchable. Like
Yeah.
they're just perfectly designed, aren't
Do
they?
you think he comes up with all his ideas? Or do you
I mean,
think-
he'd have a team to
He'd have
do
a
it,
team to do it,
obviously,
right.
but like, just and like he trims the fat. So if it's just like, I don't know, we got to live in a swamp or whatever I don't know, whatever they're doing.
Yeah.
There's no like, hey guys, so I'm here at the swamp and this is my boy, whatever.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And today, you know, the idea is that we're in the middle. Like, it's just like go, and it just
Yeah.
starts. And that, I think that's really like interesting. Like,
yeah.
you'll make it just 8 minutes. He won't do like a 50-minute video.
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
so like tightly produced.
And what's also interesting is that
I want to kick that guy so much. Just thinking about him.
there's...
Let me kick him.
Yeah, yeah. So there was one video, you know, look, doing YouTube isn't a job in the sense like being a nurse or a construction worker.
Absolutely
Or
not.
any member of,
No.
of the village
Any,
people, ultimately.
any job ever, yeah. Go
A
on.
policeman,
Yeah.
a Native American, and so forth.
That job, yeah.
That job. But there was an episode where he decides he's going to see if he can not eat for 30 days.
Yes.
And it's not just him in a room and he just sits there for 4. He's also doing regular Mr. Beast videos
It's crazy.
during it.
So you're seeing the videos that he's...
Already made.
And we've
like-
seen, because
Yeah.
we've watched a lot of them.
Yeah. And then you go, oh, he hadn't eaten for 2 weeks. at
Yeah,
this point.
and he's just like falling apart, but he's just driven. God damn.
That's a commitment.
Yeah.
Anyway.
That Let Last to Take Hands Off a Jet from 2 weeks ago. It's got 60 million views.
Well, you wanted to know who was going to take the hands off the jet.
But I didn't... Who was it?
It was some guy, he had a brother.
Yeah.
He gave the jet to his brother.
Yeah.
Yeah.
God, and these thumbnails, just next level, mate. $10,000 every day you survive prison. I haven't watched that one yet, but I hope it's real
A
prison.
real prison. Because you're hoping one of his friends will be stabbed.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Anyway, look, I just want to point out the guy that I'm talking about, who, again, I can't name or even describe. I wouldn't
Because
really...
you can't describe it. Because
No.
he's indescribable.
Yeah, I wouldn't really kick
Okay.
him. I'm sure he's probably fine.
I think you'd kick him in Minecraft. But anyway.
No, I'd kick him in the chest, base.
Oh, yeah, great. That's terrific.
Just the... You know, like that kind of...
Yeah, nice.
Yeah.
All right, I got another email here, James.
Great.
This is from Hendrik. Hey, guys.
Hello, Hendrik.
Is it this Hendrik, do you think?
Maybe.
Okay, great.
No, I said hello, Hendrik. What did I say?
I thought you
anything?
said you knew a Hendrik.
Maybe I do.
Okay. I finally have a story worthy of telling after listening to all these great stories over the years. Our great stories, James.
We have a lot of
Almost
stories,
certainly.
Mason. We got a lot of news
Yeah.
and stories.
I was listening to the podcast on my way back to work. I suddenly found myself in the middle of a high-speed car chase. An SUV went flying past me, followed by at least 4 police cars.
Was this O.J. Simpson?
It was O.J. Simpson. This is from the 90s, this email.
Wow.
Yeah. So I did what any good bystander would do and pulled out my phone and started recording. Shortly after passing me, the fleeing car slammed into 2 cars at a stoplight. And the next thing I know, we're all surrounded by at least 10 cop cars coming from every direction. They pulled the person out of the car and started directing traffic, and I finally made it back to work after 45 minutes.
Damn.
In the video, you can see my dashboard, and it showed the podcast as what I was listening to when I posted the video to Facebook, which again involved police chases and car crashes. Some of my friends only thought to comment, "Whoa, you listen to the Weekly Planet? I love that show." So, some of his girlfriend's friends said that.
Oh, that's great. I love that.
There you go.
Do we have the video?
We don't have the video. He's not sent the
Damn.
video. Can I use this time for some shameless self-promotion and be the official lead singer of Negated of the podcast?
Oh, absolutely. Yes.
Sounds like a band. Sounds like a Norwegian metal band.
It certainly does,
And his
doesn't
name
it?
is Hendrik, so probably.
Sounds right to me, Mason.
Yeah.
Absolutely right. Well, that's really good stuff. Well, I'm glad you're okay and you weren't killed in a police
Thanks,
chase as
man.
well. This is from Jack. Says hashtag Weekly Planet Pod. An idea for a podcast: actors that are playing much younger characters, characters than they are. For example, Smallville season 1, episode 1. Clark is supposed to be 14, even though he's like 25.
Wow.
I forgot that he's supposed to be that old. Yeah. That is. I feel like it's something they're better at doing now.
Yeah.
They'll either cast someone who's actually that age or around
Yeah.
that age, or they'll get someone who looks young.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's funny when I remember the first example popped in my head of Dexter. And it's like him as a teenager doing his first kill, and he's just got like an awkward
Yes, absolutely.
crooked wig on.
Yeah,
He's like 38 years old.
Or the I saw this on Twitter the other day, but the killer from Saw, Jigsaw from Saw, as a young man, and it's just him with a backwards baseball cap and a hoodie. And it's like, that's him as a teen.
Yeah, I don't know if I could. I'd have to do a bunch of research, but I do like the idea of that. Yeah. What else have you got, Mason?
I've got one more email. This is from Kingsley.
Hello, Kingsley.
Kingsley says,
Are you related to Kingo from the Eternals movies?
maybe. Do you think he's related to Ben Kingsley?
Ben Kingsley, maybe.
Yeah.
I don't know. Ask him.
Well, his name's Kingsley, so.
Okay, then yes, probably.
Hi, James and Mason, long-time fan. I work full-time and I'm a father of 2. When James spoke about operating at 40%, I burst out laughing as it's the best description possible.
Yeah.
I told my partner about it, but guess what? She doesn't get it. So I don't know.
Yeah,
what's going
don't
on
tell
there.
your partners anything that happens here.
No, that's
They're
right.
not going to like it.
Yeah.
They don't like it.
Yeah.
Just don't.
A lot of this podcast is built on a very delicate web that will collapse if you attempt to explain any
Yeah.
of it. You know?
A lot of people don't get it, and that's fine. It's
Hmm.
not for everybody, and it clearly isn't, Mason. Oh, we came 4th in the Australian Podcasting Awards. I forgot to mention that up top, which is obviously disappointing. Not for the people who voted for us.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, I wanted to win and then not turn
We're
up.
sending out our a variety of thank yous.
Anyway, next year I don't know whether I'll have the enthusiasm next year, but my idea wasn't. I talked about this.
You'll be
just
full
before.
of beans next
Maybe,
year.
hopefully. But the idea is to really go at it really hard, put it in every YouTube video, plaster it every day, all the time, everywhere, and then definitively 100% not show up.
Terrific.
Yeah,
Yes.
because I think there's been one podcast that's won up the past 4 years, and I'm like, enough of that. Whatever
the same person every
whatever
time.
that podcast is.
Wow. Do you think that they saw us storm at home that one time?
Yeah,
that
they were
we won?
inspired by
and
us.
They were and they were
Yeah.
like, we're gonna get. So that's we're
That's
battling.
what I'm saying.
We're battling them.
We've got a rivalry with whoever this is that won.
Probably a couple of single gals in the city who are into wellness.
Maybe, yeah.
Yeah.
Let's not find out, but let's just do it anyway.
Okay, terrific.
Anyway, I might do it next year.
Love
We'll
it.
see. Anyway, thank you though. I appreciate. 4th is amazing still.
That's true, yeah.
Yeah.
What? It's not bronze. What do we get?
Poop.
That's bad. Why would they jump to that? And what are the people who are below us? What do they get?
They get whatever we don't eat.
The scraps of poop.
Yeah, so I'm going to eat none. You'll eat some. And then
No, I'll eat no, James, no. Whoever attends the ceremony, which is Claire.
Yeah,
So,
okay.
Anyway, James.
Yeah.
Kingsley says, the other day I was at work and everybody was discussing favourite films. I asked a colleague of mine that I'm just getting to know what hers was, and no word of a lie, she said, League of Extraordinary Gentlemen and Goodfellas.
What?
Great.
That's somebody who really sees both sides.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know, was more shocking that LXG was her favourite film or that she found Goodfellas equally as good as a film as LXG. Fascinating.
That is very fascinating.
Very fascinating. There's no question there.
Is there any casting crossover there? God, I don't know if there is.
I don't know if there is, no.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Something to think about, though.
Yeah.
God, people are wild.
Yeah.
But that's like normal person stuff.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? People who aren't as bizarre as us, who look into every movie that's ever happened and think about it. Someone's just like, I saw 2 movies at them. They were all
Pretty
right.
good. I thought they were some stuff happened, then it ended. It's pretty
Yeah.
good. Oh, I don't know if you saw this, James.
What's that?
Do you know who's going to be making a guest appearance in Auntie Donna's new sitcom?
Who?
Richard Roxburgh as Rake.
What?
Yeah.
As actual... Have they released a trailer?
Yeah.
When did this happen?
It's not on their channel. It's on the ABC channel.
Oh, my God. All right, I'm going to check that out right after this.
Okay, right.
When's that series coming? Early next year, right?
Yeah.
I'm so excited, Mason. I'm so fucking excited. Yeah.
There's another one. There's another guest appearance that I've been told. I don't think it's in the trailer, but I'll tell you what it is afterwards.
Do I want to know, or was it a big
no,
spoiler?
no, you'd want to know.
Okay, all
Yeah.
right, cool. Is it me?
Yeah, you're in it. They filmed you.
That's great.
They filmed you.
Getting my newspaper.
Yes, that's right.
I got one more here, Mason, from Ninja Dude 3, who says, what's the best superhero identity reveal to his/her love interest in your opinion? My favorite is Spider-Man 2 with Tobey and Kirsten.
Oh.
Mine is Superman 2, and there's two versions of this, but I guess the version that I like the most is the one where you see she figures out that he's Superman, and he's like hunched over and he's Clark Kent.
I'm Clark Kent,
and
I'm
you
a
see him
grub.
like turn
I'm a
around.
little goblin grub.
And he takes his glasses off and he like,
Hello,
his
I'm
posture
Superman.
straightens, and you see him like
Yeah, that's a good one.
physically change.
Yeah.
That is my favorite.
Oh, I like at the end of Iron Man where he just says, I'm Iron Man.
But it says to love interest.
She was there. Pepper Potts
She
was
already
there.
knew though. She saw him caught in the Iron Man suit.
Oh, yeah.
But that was a reveal in
That was a
itself.
hell of a reveal, let me tell you that much.
Great stuff, Mason.
That's a great question. Name a superhero, James, and I'll tell you if their significant other reveal was any good.
Green Goblin.
No.
Batman Forever.
No.
Vicky Vale, Batman Forever. What about Christian Bale being like, it's not what I do, but
I
it's
don't-
who I am.
No, I didn't
That
like
is
that.
what I do.
I guarantee.
Superhero reveal.
Oh.
Let's see what we got here. No, I'm kidding. There must be more Lois and Clark shit, right?
It's also, like, it's less common these days considering so few superheroes have secret identities now.
Michael Keaton was just like, I live above a back. I'm Batman.
That's true. That is true.
I live here. That's where I live. Yeah.
What about when the character, Mr. Secret Identity, revealed his secret identity on My Secret Identity?
Did he ever reveal
I
his own
don't
secret
know.
identity?
I don't know.
Jerry
Jerry O'Connell.
O'Connell. Yeah. I don't know, man. There'd be a bunch.
I'll think about it. It'll be the first thing I say next
Spider-Man to Zendaya, but she already knew.
She already knew.
She's like, I'm Spider-Man.
I do love a one where they already knew.
They're like,
I think
obviously,
that's always
it
good.
is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to be significant other either.
That's what this says.
Oh well, I guess in the strictest letter of the law.
It's not who I am, but it's where I've been.
That's right.
That decides who I what. Love that movie. So many classic
I'm not
lines.
feeling okay. I've been hit in the head a lot of times. It's not who, but I what. Where I am. Where am I?
What do you think? Anyway, Mason,
What do you reckon about that?
we're getting loopy.
Yep.
We got to wrap up this show,
It's not even
Mason.
late. What's going on?
I don't know. It's your fault.
That is true.
Yeah.
Folks, thank you so much for listening to the show. Thank you for liking and subscribing and telling your friends about it, because that's how we get new listeners, or even just associates. Scream it out your window.
I agree.
Get in a car chase. Put it on your dashboard.
Wow.
Send the video.
Drive safe, though, obviously.
Yeah, drive safe.
Yeah.
Folks, thank you also for leaving a 5-star review on the podcast platform of your choice, because people, that's something algorithm something.
People, that's something, correct.
People, that's something. That's right.
This is from, they've got 2 5-star reviews here, but you can just do it in that, Mason. This is from G3ORPR, who says, come on, those that need a review. How can you hate on the homie just having fun? Great question.
That's so true. You
And
can't
you're
hate
right.
you cannot hate on the homie just having fun.
This is from Grey Crow, who says, Lonesome Exa, grateful to have discovered you 4+ years ago. Your YouTube and podcast got me through a lonely 2 years in Germany until the pandemic took my taco shop. Boo, that sucks.
Love a taco.
I know, right? I couldn't have picked better boys. I lost both my best friends in 1 year, a decade back, and just haven't been able to connect. Quite like it. You two gents certainly filled part of that hole. I promise I'm not this much of a bomb shelter nutrition cracker, but thank you. You're welcome. And I hope you get another shop and whatever, and everything's doing all right. Yeah, that sucks. Yeah. What's next, Mason?
Well, what's next before we go anywhere? I've just got an exclusive from giantfreakingrobot.com. Probably not true.
Blech.
Dread 2 with Carl Urban back in development.
Is it?
Do you believe it?
No.
Yeah, I didn't think so.
I mean, it might be, but they don't know.
That's true. Anyway, folks, thank you so much for listening. If you want to get in contact with us, you can go to weeklyplanetpod at Gmail, at Facebook, at Twitter, at Bandcamp. You can also go to the Planet Broadcasting Great Mates Facebook group. You can go to the Weekly Planet Podcast subreddit and Discord. If you want to follow some people on social media, first you should follow our friend Rob Collins. He edits the podcast and videos and social media and all sorts of stuff. He's at Raw Collins. He's also at The Weekly Planet. You can follow me, Wikipedia Brown, on Twitter, and Nick Maso on Instagram. James is Mr. Sunday Movies everywhere. If you want to support the show, you can go to patreon.com/Mr. Sunday Movies. Chuck in a buck or an amount you would not miss if it fell out your pocket and rolled down the street into a gutter.
Yeah.
Or you can go to bigsandwich.co, sign up for $9 per month. You get bonus podcast, movie commentaries, early videos, ad-free podcast feed.
This
and
week we did
and a big, brilliant smile on both of our faces. Ding!
We did, what's the comic we did this week again? Oh, yeah, we talked about there's a Cassian Andor prequel comic.
Yeah.
Which is, well, we talk about it, but we
sure
talk
do.
about more the idea of like comics and continuity and all those kinds of things if you are interested. Yeah.
Very true. Let's see, we've got some t-shirts on tpublic.com. You just search for The Weekly Planet. Thank you to The Brute and The Basilisk and Rackham for all our musical themes. If you're still on your commute and you want to listen to some other stuff, once again, I was on an episode of Confessions and an episode of Do Go On. They're just right there. They're just right there. They're just right there. They're probably linked in the episode description.
Things. Thanks, Collins. Two separate
Things. Two separate things. Two separate things. Two separate things.
Anything else, Mason?
That's the whole show, I think.
Next week, Glass Onion.
Nice.
And then another thing after that. All right.
Terrific.
Thanks, everybody.
Grab that gem, you guys. We'll see you next week.
Goodbye. Goodbye.